And we are recording. Welcome, everybody, to this episode of Code 4 Podcast. We are back with our buddy Matt. We're going to check in with him and see where life's taken him since the last episode. Matt was on back in November of 25, and it was a phenomenal episode. We will post that down in the comments so you guys can, the link to it, you can go check it out. It was a phenomenal episode. We wanted to have Matt back on to kind of talk about where life has taken him since that episode. Matt is he's got some news for us. He's had a few changes in his life, and he is now a published author. I am proud to announce his book that he referenced in the last podcast is now available. Mine comes in tomorrow, but as soon as it gets here, I will read it. So
I
I'm
appreciate
very
it.
proud of you, and thank you for being on here again, and welcome, buddy.
Man, I appreciate you guys giving me some space. I had a blast last time we sat down, so I jumped at the next opportunity you presented for sure. It's good to be here with you guys.
So how's it feel now that you're officially published?
You know, Ryan, it's it's been a surreal feeling. I started writing this book about this time last year. I guess it was probably end of January, but pretty darn close to this time last year. And I think I told you in the last interview, or maybe we were just sidebarring about it, but somewhere in the middle of writing that book, I hit a wall and I stopped and I was like, I don't know, and who's going to read it? Nobody cares and whatever. And then I just kept pushing forward. And then I went on this big motorcycle trip and kind of thought that I had wrapped it up before I left, but then got back from my trip in August and realized like, no, there's still some stuff I needed to add. Getting there was having everything come to fruition and having this idea manifest into physical form has been probably one of the coolest things I've ever done. And you and I were talking last night. There's something about it. I didn't realize this until I was holding it in my hand that like, it'll be here after I'm gone. I hope, right? I mean, as long as the world doesn't go to an end, but it's like and Ryan had said like legacy stuff. And I was like, God, I guess in a way it is my kids and grandkids and great grandkids can read it one day or whatever, if I don't know. It's a very cool feeling. And I guess cool is not the best word, but
Yeah, Sal.
it is.
So Matt and I were talking last night when we were testing before we jumped on the episode. But like we were talking about podcasts, and our podcasts, they're in a digital world. Like again, like we always talk, we're 3 generations removed from existence, from being forgotten. You know what I mean? But digital world let's say that the world falls apart one day. The written word is all that's going to be left. So like having something memorialized in a book, like 3 generations from now, we don't know what platforms we're gonna be using, but books are still gonna be around. Like,
Let's hope so.
so Matt's
That's right.
great grandkids may get a hold of his book one day and may have some understanding as to who their great-great-grandfather was and what he endured in his timeline.
Oh, that's why he was so fucked up. Effed up, excuse me. Yeah. No, that's true. It's kind of it's neat, man. Now I already started working on a second book about my motorcycle trip, and I think I'm kind of leaning into this author space. It's a neat feeling, man. And yesterday I went around to a couple local bookstores, and I had a few strikeouts. A couple bookstores they don't do consignment, and you have to be on Ingram to
Uh,
But then I hit 2 that were like, hell yeah. One of them bought my books outright. The other put them on consignment. And I just walked away with the biggest smile on my face,
that's
and it's
awesome.
Oh,
kind of,
yeah. That's
kind of
awesome.
a neat, yeah.
Good for you.
Feels
Good
good.
for you.
Thank you.
So
I
where are your
appreciate
books
it.
available right now? We'll post the link down there, but where if I'm looking for your book, where do I find it?
Yeah, anywhere in the world right now, Amazon. If you go into Amazon, you should be able to pull my book up. And then if you're in the El Dorado County area, the Book House and the Bookery, there are 2 local bookstores. I'm still shopping some more, but so as far as local goes, I've got 2 bookstores. But yeah, Amazon.com and then Thriving Through Trauma, Matthew Wolford. You should be able to see the orange book and you should be able to buy it. There's a Kindle version, paperback, and hardcover. Part of my delay to getting on is I just finished recording for Audible. I narrated the book, so
Nice.
Okay.
yeah,
That was gonna be
So
my
how
next
does that
question for you.
work?
God, it's uncomfortable, man. You know how
You have to
everybody
read the
hates
whole
this.
thing?
Yeah, out loud, man, sitting
Wow.
here in my living room, but kind of going through. I just recorded a whole chapter and then went back to check, and it didn't pick up any of the audio. I was all, but I didn't notice until I finished the whole chapter. I was like, son of a.
Oh, man.
But it's all good. I got through it, and there's a platform. I think ACX is the website. I don't know what that abbreviation is for, but it's what Audible and Amazon use to convert everything over. So hopefully by this time next week, I can work out all the kinks. Maybe if I can get really hot on it this weekend, I'd like to. A lot of folks use Audible. I use Audible, so
Yeah.
I'd like to make it available wherever, wherever I can.
I'm not a big Audible fan, like, I don't like listening to books, I'd rather read the books, but, like, Sal and I were talking, like, I sent him the book Green Lights, I'm halfway through it as well, the Matthew McConaughey book,
That's a great book.
and I've heard a lot of people say that, like, you can buy it on Audible too to where he narrates the thing, so that's got me thinking, did he read his entire book, or is they use
But
some
yeah.
type of AI? Like, because if so, it'd be kinda cool. "Alright, alright, alright." Like,
Alright, man, I read it in his voice anyways. Read that book when it first came out, and that was the first time in my adult life that I sat down and read a book cover to cover. I was on a camping trip, I read it in under a week. Every day I was reading, I laughed, I cried. I
mhm.
was like, "This is a great book, man," and,
He has
I really
poems and notes and all kinds of stuff in there.
yeah,
Yeah, it's
great
pretty
book.
awesome.
I actually really like him, man. I joined up. I'm on his reading list or his little email list. He does a lot to support folks and to motivate people to be better versions of themselves, man. I dig it, for being somebody of his stature in life to still try to understand people on some base levels and to try to help folks. You know what I mean? I just think that
Yeah.
he's a pretty cool dude. I could hope that if I'm ever at that position in life that I'm that humble and that down to earth. You know what I'm saying? He
I
seems like a
think you're
pretty
there
good dude.
now, my friend. I think he just has a wider audience.
Yeah, and way more money is all I mean, like to have that bankroll and still care, you know what I mean?
But it's cool to like in reading his book to kind of hear about his upbringing and where he came from. Like he lived in a trailer park in Texas.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I never would have thought that.
Yeah. Yeah, his stories are pretty, they're out there. Yeah, I mean, I don't wanna ruin it for anybody, but yeah, no, the stuff he talks about and, like, the nitty-gritty stuff he talks about too, it's like, "Oh, man, this guy's just like me," or what you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
he's just another dude, going through his shit, trying to
He talked
fucking
about
figure it
his
all.
going through his ego phase and like it's all
Mhm.
this stuff is pretty relatable in there. So
Yeah, big time.
Sal, if you haven't opened it yet, no, we'll stop talking about it. But it's a good book.
No, man, I'm still gonna have to read the words anyways. It just gives me more to look forward to.
Yeah.
Matt, so how'd it feel when you got the first copy in your hand?
Oh, man, I don't think I've smiled so big in a long time. And it was a process too, right? Like as soon as I submitted everything to Amazon or through Kindle Direct Publishing, I immediately ordered my author proofs, right? Because I was like, my intent was to get them as soon as possible.
What are
Well, for
those?
whatever that's well, it's basically the same thing, but it says not for resale on it, and I think there's potentially some information missing inside it. I don't know. There's just you're not supposed to be able to resell. Basically, I get them at cost if I want the author proofs,
Okay.
and you can't sell them in a store. So it was like, $3 or $4 to get the paperbacks. It's like $8 for a hardcover. And as opposed to the 18.99 and the 28.99 or whatever, which was a nice thing, but it took excessively long. Like they didn't ship for a week, and then like everything was delayed, right? And
Yeah.
it
Right.
was like the most important thing in the world to me. And I was like, having to like really struggle with being patient and not trying to chew anybody's head off on Amazon, but I did. I'm like, come on, guys, are you guys giving me a hard time? Like, what's the deal?
Yeah, yeah.
And but then I finally got it, and I was just like, and then sitting here and reading it myself, and like, obviously, I straight away I started finding typos and stuff. You know what I mean? Like, damn it. But that's just part of the process. It's I'm
Hey, it's your
very
first book,
critical.
buddy.
Just
Yeah,
means you're human.
yeah, definitely human, and it definitely didn't. I didn't cheat. It's all my thoughts. But
So I
no,
remember watching your video because you posted like the video, like the day that you got the box, right?
yeah.
And you were so excited. And to
Yeah,
be
you were.
honest, when I watched that video, I was like, man, I never would have thought to video that thing. I would have been so excited, like a kid on Christmas. But he had the forethought. Let me set a camera up and just do the whole unboxing of this.
I just had because I've been in this creator space
You have been. That's another
for
thing we're gonna
6
talk
months or so. Yeah, it's like I knew I did. I guess I and it was right as I pulled up to the post office. I was like, make sure I all right, when I get it out or whatever, I just pull my camera out at some point, and get a couple of quick videos or something,
about.
right? And it all kind of worked out. They weren't as clean as I wanted them to be, and I got some comments like, "Is it written in gibberish?" Or somebody asked me, "Is it written in Russian?" Because the camera was flipped and they couldn't read anything on it. I didn't think about any of that, but I just wanted to kind of capture the moment. Even if I didn't post it, I knew that like, it'd be kind of cool to
Yeah.
get it
To
on
scroll back
camera,
through.
you
That's
know.
fantastic, man. That's such a huge accomplishment to be able to put your words down on paper and just be that vulnerable and put yourself out there like that. I think it's awesome.
Have you got any
Thanks, man.
feedback thus far?
Not yet. I have a few people who are like my cousin. I talked to him last night out in North Carolina, and he was about 25 pages in. He's I love it so far, and
Yeah.
I'm really looking forward to some feedback. I'll be honest, and I don't mean to. Well, I'm just direct, and I put I put some stuff in there. My intention was to ruffle some feathers.
Good.
I talk about some things that are gonna make you uncomfortable, that are gonna make you question your day to day or the way you operate, right? Like that's my that's the design, is to get you to think outside of your own box that you're really comfortable in, right? I mean, like I said Ryan and I were talking about this cold plunge I did this week. It's the first time I ever did one on camera, but I said on camera, especially because I don't want to do it, I'm going to do it, right? And that's
Yeah.
kind of the whole thing, is like anytime you're in this comfort zone, it's like you got to get out of it, and our egos keep us in that comfort zone, and we justify it. Our lives, our experiences justify our comfort zones. I've been through this, so that's why I'm this way, and that serves a purpose to a point, but I've realized that a lot of that structuring is what inevitably caused my life to implode, right? Because I was trying to
Mhm.
control all of these outcomes and all of these scenarios, and especially being a highly trained observer, right? Like I can keep track of a lot of things, and it's exhausting,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
it's not, life isn't meant to be lived that way. It's supposed to be lived in the moment. But if you're always trying to anticipate what's next or worried about what's behind you, it's really hard to be present, right?
And those excuses and that comfort zone can hold you back from what life has is really intended for you.
Absolutely. Yeah. Big time.
So let's talk about your cold plunge. Like you have absolutely dabbled in the creator space, and like I've watched your videos get better and better and better, and you're posting almost daily. The one of the videos that caught my attention, we talked about it last night, was the cold plunge video. And I think I had asked you whether or not, like, because you had said in the video that you really didn't wanna do that day. But,
Right.
did putting it on video help hold you accountable for that?
It did.
Did it
It
serve like a
did.
function?
Yeah, and like I told you last night, and I guess I just want to, since we're recording now, I want to say it to the audience too, is I am in this creator space, but I don't, it's never a flex. I'm never flexing. If I share something, if I make it public to the world, it's because I'm trying to reveal a part of me. I'm trying to be transparent. I want to, I've been talking about doing these. I talk about it there's a whole section in my book about the cold fire, like that will forge you, but it gets you, if you can learn to sit in an uncomfortable space there, it'll train your mind to do it elsewhere. Right. So I wanted to just demonstrate that I'm walking the walk, that's all it is. But for about 5 minutes leading up to me taking that video, I was here on my porch, standing outside in my robe, pacing back and forth, trying to, like, oh, I really don't want to do this. I don't, it's so cold out. I would rather do anything else. I could just take a cold shower. I mean, all of the thoughts, right? And then it hit me. I was like, well, this would be a good opportunity to post it. I could do that. And then it was kind of like a switch flipped, I was like, all right, well, I'm doing it. And also a part of my journey has taught me that as soon as I have an idea and I think it's like a pretty decent one, or like a genuine, authentic one, I don't let myself back out. I don't let fear drive the train, right? It's like, nope. I'm definitely not going to do it because I want to be comfortable or because I'm scared, right? Or I'm not, you know what I mean? I'm not going to talk myself out of it. So then it was just a matter of like, all right, let's go, let's do it. And then, like I told you last night, I did a cold plunge yesterday, and the difference between the cold plunge I did yesterday off camera versus the one I did on camera was yesterday. As soon as I got in that water, I was like, ooh, yeah, very
Yeah.
vocal. I like the son of a. But when I got on camera, it was just stoic, right? Because like, keep it together, man. Nonetheless, I think it was just a demonstrating that it can be done. Heck, I got a friend, one-legged Rick. I talked about him in one of my posts. I ran into this guy in two different locations on the East Coast, two different times. Once in Virginia, right outside of West Virginia. And then a second time I was having dinner with a buddy of mine that we were in Afghanistan with in Washington, D.C. And Rick was there at the restaurant. And
Wow.
he came walking through and was like, and I was like, one-legged Rick? And he snapped a picture. Anyways, so we're still friends, and he's He's out there in the East Coast doing cold plunges in ice baths. I mean, he's literally has to break the ice up to get into his water trough. And I'm
Yeah.
like, you're fucking hardcore, Rick. And he's just an older guy, but he's like, I'm like, if Rick can do it, I can do it. You know what I mean? And I think sometimes when we see people do things that we think are impossible, it motivates us. Because anybody, if somebody else can do it, you can do it, right?
Yeah.
Nobody's gonna be better than
So
anybody else.
I've been wanting to buy a trough and put it on my back porch. My problem is here, I live in a townhome,
Yeah.
and they won't let you wash your cars and shit here. So as a matter of fact, there's no spigots. So I'd have to fill it up with like pitcher of water at a time.
Yeah. Yeah, I think mine's 120 gallons, so that's a lot of
Yeah,
pictures.
it'll take a while.
Fuck.
Jeez, man.
Make
No
120
spigots, huh?
120 trips. Jesus.
Yeah. Well, I mean, however you could work it out. Well, you know what you could do? I don't know, just a thing. You run a hose from your sink faucet out to your
Yeah,
back.
you
Yeah,
could.
you know what I
I
mean?
think I may do that, and they're probably gonna
Just
charge me like extra for the water bill that month, but
Okay.
whatever.
What are you gonna say
my
now?
rec yeah. The thing about the trough is that unless you keep it covered, you're gonna wanna drain it, and even still, like, little things, just making sure you're clean when you get in it, right? Or else
Yeah,
it gets kinda gunky after a while, and you won't wanna get in it, When I was
You gotta
last year,
coordinate it.
when I was doing it, I kept having this film above it, and I could not and I thought it was
dust.
from I thought it was from all the cloud seeding. I'm like, "Damn, chemtrails." And then one night I caught frogs were hanging out in there, man, so it was all this frog stuff, and I
Frog
was like, "Oh,
juice.
man," like so keep it covered, and yeah, that's just some insider tips, but no,
Oh,
it's
man.
it's good for you, man. It's
So I like doing 'em, and I feel great when I come out. The
Mhm,
problem is like when you first submerge yourself in that water,
mhm,
like my feet, once they get so cold, it hurts. It's
mhm,
painful for the first
mhm.
minute or so. Because I
Yep,
used to do like I'd do 3 5-minute rounds in there.
that's hardcore.
At a
No, that's
time in
good.
one day?
Yeah. I'd just go like I'd hop in for 5 minutes, I'd hop out,
What's the
warm
protocol
up.
on that shit?
What do you mean?
Yeah, what's like the standard protocol for doing it? Like to
I think
like
5
walking
minutes
into
is
that.
like the I mean, you probably don't wanna jump right into, like, 5 minutes, but you can do it. It's just you gotta it pulls, like, all of the blood flow and stuff out of your arms and your legs, and that's your body's response. It's protecting all those vital organs to keep 'em
Mhm.
to keep your core warm,
Yeah,
Yeah.
so you start to lose feeling in your those your extremities first, but
right.
I wonder if you can get hypothermia if you're in there too long. I mean, obviously you
yeah.
can, but I mean, like, I wonder at what point is it like the dangerous? Like,
I
what's
don't
the
know.
safe zone?
That's a great question, and, I've thought about that a few times over because I've always been raised and trained that cold water is bad, and, like, if second you hit it, get out, warm the body, and then after going through experiences where I've spent 20, 30 minutes in the cold plunge, just once you get used to it and once you
Yeah.
conquer your ego and, like, get a handle on the mental side of it, the
Hmm.
longer you can stay, and then you get out and you realize, like Ryan's saying, when you get out, you feel great. Like, your body warms up and you're like, "Man, that was aw," like, and
Best
I
feeling
do
ever.
always have the urge to get back in. I'm like, "I can go for another round, I could probably do that," But it's way better when you have a sauna nearby. And this is
Yeah,
the first time I started doing this was probably 2020. I was living in Sacramento, and I was going to this gym, and there's a lot of Eastern European people that live out there, and I kept noticing and it's always the same guys, how there's always the same crowd depending on when you go. And there's all these guys and they would leave and they would come back soaking wet a few minutes later. And after a couple of weeks, I was finally like, "What the hell are you guys doing?" And they're like, "Cold plunge," and I'm all, "Why? It's December," And so, anyways, they explained to me that the cold to sauna will make you live longer. They swore by it.
really?
They said you sleep like a baby, and what happens is the cold water contracts your arteries, the sauna expands, contraction, so you never get the hardened arteries. You always have good blood flow, good circulation. And I was like, "Huh." So that was the
Makes
first
sense.
time yeah. But I think, yeah, I think if you have health risks or if you have heart problems or, things like that, I mean, yeah, I would proceed with caution and listen to your body. But to answer your question, I think for starting out, go as long as you can, even if it's 30 seconds. Because the simple fact of the matter is the second you get in, you're going to want to get out.
Yep.
So
Mhm.
every second you spend in that space of being uncomfortable is going to be beneficial to you, to your mind
Yeah.
and to your body.
Yeah, I did a 5-minute one once in a pond. It was like it used to be a pond. It was a cemented body of water that they use for like agriculture and stuff like that, and like watering down like fields of whatever that were up in like
Yeah.
this winery. But they ended up turning it into a pool, and it was chlorinated, so it was just like a giant ass pond that became a pool. And it was like winter. I think it was like 55 degrees inside there, and like we were in there for 5 minutes, and my dumbass was treading water, like instead of just holding still. And everybody was like, "Dude, stop moving. It's a lot warmer if you stop moving." And I was like, "Fuck, you guys do this for recreation? You're stupid. This is dumb. Fuck you. Fuck this."
So, like, I follow a guy on Instagram. He gets out there every single morning and he takes like
Mhm.
a sledgehammer and he cracks the ice and he
I've
hops
seen
in
that
there
guy.
with a damn cup of coffee. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I
Yeah.
agree. I did feel fantastic, and I felt pretty good afterwards. Like tingling in your skin almost afterwards. Like
Mhm.
all the blood flow starts coming back. It's definitely an intense experience. I don't know if a trough would work in Arizona. Like maybe it'd get cold enough out here.
Yeah,
It'd
I don't
probably end up being
know.
a fucking hot sauna. You know.
yeah,
Yeah.
you'd have to go down to Iceland every morning or something.
Yeah,
What?
no kidding.
Yeah.
You might
Yeah.
actually have to get one of those ones like Joe Rogan has where they like keeps
Yeah,
it at a
man.
certain temp, you know?
You're gonna get expensive here, man.
So
You guys
I
are
actually
over
looked
there.
at those and they're like $1,000, man.
Yeah, yeah. That's when you made it to the big leagues.
Yeah.
Have you ever tried one of those cryo chambers?
Uh-uh.
So we have one here in Clarksville. I went and checked it out one day, and you can do like a free trial run before they'll give you one free experience before you have to sign up for a membership. So I went and tried it, and bro, you're only allowed 3 minutes max in there. It is minus 160 degrees. They make you wear like these booties and mittens and cover your ears,
So you don't get like
Yeah.
contact frostbite.
and it was
So,
painful. Like I had a headache the entire
oh,
time I was in there.
That's crazy. Now I'm gonna look into I wonder if there's gotta be something. I live near Sacramento. I'm
Yeah,
sure
I'm
there's
sure.
something out there. Yeah.
they had that in Korea. They had it was crazy, man. In Korea, they had these bathhouses, and I know it sounds bad, but like, hear me out on this. Like, they
Every
had
time
these
I
like,
hear bathhouse, I think like Russians in there,
Yeah,
like
exactly.
KGB.
Yeah.
yeah, and it was exactly like that. What you would picture. Ace, go away. And we went over there as a team for Warfighter for the MPs to go. We were gonna like detrain, I guess, and just relax. Ace, fuck, come on,
I'm
go
so glad my
plots,
dog's being good right now.
hey,
Usually he's up my shit.
plots. I'm sorry, guys. No, so
No, you're good.
we get in there, and like my team sergeant, Sergeant Folden, was like, "Hey, we're gonna start off in like the lukewarm pool, and then we're gonna work our way up to like the cold pools." And like it was like indoor pools, like everything was indoors, but like it was like a series of like Olympic sized pools, and they were all different temperatures, and there was probably like 6 or 7 of them in there. And then it was like an ice bath one. And I remember we did every stage, and then they were like, "All right, now it's the heat time." And then there was heat rooms, like heated rooms. And then finally it was like this secluded ass fucking room where it was a fucking oven, bro, like a brick oven. And like what you would, yeah, we were fucking pizzas for sure. And like we went in there, and I remember just going through this igloo, this fucking brick oven igloo, and I'm sitting in there, and like I'm like, "Hey man, I'm fucking cooking. It smells like Jimmy Dean in this bitch right now. Like, I don't think this is fucking healthy." And he's like, "You're a fucking puss. Like, just relax." And I was just like, "No, man, fuck this. I'm out." And then, like, right next door to that was a cryo chamber. And I remember getting into that thing, and like we were just in there for seconds, but like the Koreans do that shit. And I think it was like 1,000 won, which was like $1 to
Yeah.
spend all day in there and just doing that. And like there was some weird stuff going on. Don't get me wrong. Like,
Sure.
maybe not KGB, but maybe like Queer Eye for the Straight Guy type shit, you know? Like
Yeah.
some
Yeah,
weird
yeah.
stuff going.
I'm sure.
Yeah, and so we didn't spend too much time going back there, but that was an experience in itself. But like other countries do have like these things set up for that, like everywhere. I think we're like, I've never heard of a bathhouse like that here in the United States.
Yeah.
I mean, I
No
haven't seen
wonder.
one. We don't have one here locally.
Uh,
No,
Got down by
no.
like
Where did you go to this cryo chamber at, Ryan?
um it's here locally. It's called like Cryu or something like that. I don't know how big of a franchise is. I'd never heard of it till somebody mentioned it.
Yeah, we had a guy die in one of those fucking what do they call those, like those chambers? Those caught fire. Those Joe Rogan always gets in one, and it's like It's not a decompression chamber. It's like it's just pumped full of oxygen and stuff. You ever seen those? What do they call those, Ryan? Like where it helps you heal really fast? Those it's not a deprivation chamber. But anyways,
Maybe.
it ended up fucking like it ended up hitting him with an electrical fire inside and he fucking died inside there.
Oh,
And
shit.
like, yeah, and
The
I'm
the
like,
place here is called Optimize You. It is cryotherapy, and they offer a bunch of different services. They also do, like, those inflatable leg, massage no, they're not massagers, but I guess they, like, constrict your legs, like you see
Mhm.
athletes wear them all the time. They do
yeah,
that type of
compression
stuff.
pants.
Yeah.
Yeah. Keeps the blood
It's
moving. Huh. Yeah, what a trip.
So, Matt, you are notably in a different space this time. Last time you was in the
Upgrade?
camp you was in the camper. So how's
I'll tell you, man, it's great. The whole the last few years of my life have just been a growing phase. It's been a season of my life that I needed. My wife and I went through some things, and I ended up in my trailer, and it was supposed to be temporary, and then I was in that son of a gun for darn near 3 years. I mean, 2 weeks shy of 3 years. So, and at one point in the middle of all of that, I was like, I could do this. This is pretty. I could do this the rest of my life. Like, I'll never get another house. I'll never put myself out there. You know what I mean? It was scary, and I never wanted to be in that position again or in this position again. And God bless one of my friends. He's a former team guy, and we were talking, and he was like, "Matt, you can't live in a trailer forever." He's like, "You're better than that." And I was like, what? Kind of offended me at first, but then I was like, he's right. You know what I mean? And we recently talked, and I was like, thank you. Thank you for calling me on my stuff, for motivating me to seek for, to get to a higher level. And I'll tell you what, like sobriety, man, I think yesterday when we were talking, I thought I was at day 60. I had to go back to the counter. I'm actually at day 64 sober.
Oh, that's awesome.
that's awesome.
Thanks,
Congratulations.
guys. Yeah, man, it feels pretty good. Feels really good, actually. And I know that all of this is attributed to that. If I was still using any kind of a substance, I probably would have left myself where I was. And getting sober within just a couple of weeks of being sober, I was like, I need to get out of this fucking trailer. I need to get a house again. I need to get my family back together. I need to figure this out one way or the other. You know what I'm saying? So it feels good, man. It feels like I'm heading in the right direction. I'm renting, so it's not like I have everything all figured out, but the next step is buying some land and doing some, you know what I'm saying? Like I have a plan, and I feel like I'm heading in the right direction now. So
Yeah,
thanks for noticing.
so we talked a little bit last night, and, because initially when you told me, like, via text that, "Hey, yeah, I'm moving and, moving into an apartment, and so I'll be out of the camper," I thought, "Man, I don't know whether or not everything with his wife is I don't know if this is good news or if this is bad news." So, I didn't know
Yeah.
how to phrase that, so I'm glad that you clarified that you guys are still working on things and it was just time to get out of the camper, but
100%. Yeah, no, and thank you for being sensitive to that. But no, I I've got nothing to hide. I haven't always been the best partner, and I write about that a little bit too. And that was part of the problem is I had a lot of ego defenses and a lot of things that I was stuck in my ways. And then because of my experiences, it was like automatic, like I know how this goes, and I was just damaged goods and not really handling situations appropriately. And God bless my wife, she still has held space for me and grace and patience, and we're working things out. Marriage is tough, and being in a relationship with anybody is tough. It's never going to be easy, but I'm learning to take a deep breath. Not everything is the end of the world. Sometimes we're not always going to get along, right? We're not always going to see eye to eye. But we love the heck out of each other, man. And I'm just really grateful for that. So that's part of me getting this place was like, all right, if I really, if I want to be a true husband and a stepfather and, the figurehead of my house, then I need a house. You know what I'm saying? I can't
yeah,
leave it on my wife to
facts.
go get a place. And you know what I'm saying? So it's just like stepping back into that role of taking responsibility for myself and being responsible for a family, which I don't know, with everything I went through, it was easy to kind of write that off. It was easy to, maybe easy is not the right word. It was natural in a way to kind of go, nope. It's easier to just do this. I just take care of me, just worry about me. And I don't think that that's what we're supposed to be doing, right? Like I think the whole point of it all is to challenge yourself and uh, a good partner is going to challenge you. That's what I realized about my wife is that she doesn't put up with shit. and she calls me on my shit. And if there was a time where I didn't like it, and hell, even now, sometimes I don't like, you know what I mean? But I hear her now. And if
Mhm.
she's right, I'm like, okay, you're right. I was wrong there. All right. I see your way. I see why you're saying it, and I respect it, because at the end of the day, she just wants me to be better and not necessarily like I'm bad or I'm wrong, but if there's growth to be had, she challenges me to grow, and that's a gift. That means
It
she
is
loves me,
very much
you
so.
know?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Do you miss the camper at all?
Eh, you know what I miss about the camper? I miss being able to pee wherever I wanted. Not in the camper, outside, because I lived in the middle of nowhere. You know what I mean? I step outside at night with my dog, let him take a leak. I'd take a leak, and now it's like I'll be outside with him, and I'm like, I gotta rush back inside to take a piss. Yeah, but and I miss being. I mean, that property I was on, but I lived on two different ranches.
You were
The
becoming
first one
feral.
I was. No, 100% I was. The first property I lived on was 125 acres in gold country. I was the first human to live there since the gold rush.
Dude, I don't think I would have
No
left.
way.
Way. Super cool.
That's
Very
That's
fortunate
wild.
to yeah, a friend it was my friend's property, and when I started when everything kinda hit the fan, I was like, "Hey, I'm kinda going through it. Do you care if I put my camper out there?" And then I learned I had no idea what I was even walking into, and it was basically like I was glamping. They put a bunch of money into it, but nobody lived there. It was just this remote destination with everything you could ever want, outdoor shower, all the stuff, right? And then, the second place I lived was a friend's property. It was 10 acres, and I was able to keep my horse there. So I do miss that. And I mean, the friendship that I had and like all of those things are, that's cool. And that was a very nice chapter of my life. But again, like moving forward, like I have a family, I have a wife, I've got stepchildren, you know what I mean? And they're like my kids. I love them to death, right? So I miss that dynamic in my life. And I could not stay in that space forever, not if I wanted to continue to grow. So
I'm sure you had some good memories in there, though.
percent. Oh yeah. Great. Yeah, it's bittersweet, I think is a good way to put it, to leave that place was bittersweet.
Dude, I'm telling you, the year that I lived in my camper, I think I slept the best. Like,
Really?
there's nothing, especially when it's raining and it's right there at the rooftop.
Mhm. Yeah. No,
I
you're
think
right.
I'm gonna I think I'm gonna have to go buy a fucking camper now so I can join your guys' fucking club.
Don't
Well,
do
if you
it.
do, park it
I'm feeling
outside.
really fucking left out
Walk
here.
out there one day.
I'm
Don't
not
be
gonna lie.
surprised if I'm sleeping in it.
If you do,
Yeah.
I promise you, it's gonna be enticing. You're gonna be like, "You know what? I mean, not don't let me tell you what to do, just."
I'd probably get one of those Airstreams like the accountant had or something like that,
Mm.
where you could like slip in like a crotch rocket in the back and like have your
Yeah.
gun. I could see myself doing something like that.
I've always
Yeah,
liked the
man.
Air
What's
That's
that?
yeah.
I said I've always liked the vintage look of the Airstreams.
Yeah.
They're not cheap, bro. Damn
No,
No,
not.
well,
Airstream.
it's because they last, like
Yeah.
they're aluminum, or
Yeah.
whatever they're made out of, stainless steel or what have you. But like the other stuff usually just like starts to deteriorate and get like heat warped and whatnot. And you got to start putting more money into it after a while.
Mhm.
You
Yep.
don't
So
have as
it's either
much failure points because of like hydraulic slides and shit like that.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's either those things are probably like buy once cry once type deals.
Yeah.
But yeah, they're like 90 grand or more
Easy.
for
The
like a small
small
one.
ones.
Yeah,
Yeah, you're not wrong. That's, in Green Lights, Matthew McConaughey talks about after I don't remember what maybe his first big break, but he got a 3-axle Airstream and took it across the country on a trip, and, so there's a whole
that's awesome.
section about that, and it's yeah, I was just like, "Oh, that's too cool. That's too cool."
That's wild.
Yeah, I guess there's something there, I think if your life is obviously set up different than mine, I mean, there's a lot of freedom, and there's a whole adventure there that and people are doing it. I have some friends on social media. They look to be our age, if not younger. They're it's Tim and Kate RV for life. So anyways, and that's just I think they retired young and they just travel around and they've got a toy hauler. So they bring their Harley, they got a road glide and they just ride and travel and go to RV camps and they're just kind of living this really cool lifestyle together. It's just
Yeah.
them, and that's appealing to me. It's okay, Jack. Good boy.
So it was
So did
kind of
you?
cool how COVID prompted a lot of that shit. Like
Oh,
I
yeah.
remember when COVID came out, like to book campsites here in Tennessee, especially at like the state parks and shit like that. There's a open window, and you need to start booking ahead of time.
Mm,
'Cause if you there is no booking like the weekend before. It's not like getting a
mm-mm.
hotel.
Right.
'Cause if you try looking the weekend before, you ain't gonna find nothing. But when that window opens of availability, you just gotta find those weekends and commit to them. Just book them.
So
But when COVID happened, like, I remember when that window opened up, I was trying to book some dates and they were all gone. I think everybody was like, "Hey, we're gonna go buy campers." But I think that's when remote working became so popular. Everybody was teleworking, and I
Hmm.
think everybody was like, "Hey, let's get out on the road. Let's go anywhere but the house." You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, think about it. I mean, mortgage costs, property tax, like all of the things that come along with adulting in society today. It's a weird little loophole, man. You can do all the same things and not have to deal with any of that crap, but it's a trade-off. I'm learning the value in having a foundation and some roots too, right? But
Yeah.
yeah, no, if you don't have to worry about that kind of stuff, man, go see the country. It was awesome on a Harley, so I can only imagine if you could actually take your time and sleep comfortably every night, like, in your own space,
I don't
be
miss
pretty
going
fun
to the
too.
laundromat once a week.
No, that's probably one of my favorite things about having my own pad is, I could do laundry whenever I want. I don't have to wait or go, but you know what I'm saying? Like, it's nice.
The only good part about the using the laundromat when I lived in the camper is I could get 4 loads done at once.
Right. Yeah, everything's done in an hour, right? Like, boom. Yeah, for sure.
so did you end up selling it outright, or what'd you do with the camper?
Yeah, I
Sounds like
just
you buy it.
No, I got rid of it, and actually where I was staying, I was renting that camper, so it was already on the property, yeah,
Oh,
so I got rid of my camper, and then I was renting, the property owners. They had it set up for basically like a ranch hand setup, which is what I was doing while it was part of my room and board was like, as long as I help out around the ranch, which actually that's the other side that I miss about that is taking care of animals, man. Animal husbandry is a part of who I am. I really enjoy feeding chickens and goats and horses every day, or you know what I mean? It's like, and not that I did it, we took turns, but it was like it was always an option, and usually I would be up first, so I would just look out, and if she wasn't out there, then I would like, all right, I'll go feed. Nobody really likes getting up early, but I do. And
yeah.
if I'm up, I'm gonna handle it. So there's something about that, man, being able to be connected with nature. It's a different, I don't know. Now I'm in historic Placerville. Like my house was built in 1900 and this is all like my street is set up for horse and carriage. It's only wide enough for one vehicle to go through really.
Really? Is
Whoa.
it like cobblestone
Yeah.
type shit?
Not cobblestone. It's got asphalt, but it was originally built so the width there's only parking on one side of the street and all the cross traffic or all the through traffic has to take turns, based on
Yeah.
who's first or whatever, and I just sit on my porch
Yeah.
and watch everybody negotiate it. Don't hit my Harley. But, it's nice. I'm close to town, so my running route is downtown, and, I'm right next to a walking bridge that goes over the highway and all this stuff, and it's neat, I know I won't be here forever, but I'm learning at my age to appreciate things as they are, which nothing is permanent, nor is it meant to be. So I'm really
Right.
just enjoying this phase of my life. And when it's time to move on, I will. But and when I reflect on living on a ranch for the last couple of years, it's like that was really cool. It was really cool being able to just do whatever I want whenever I wanted and not have to worry about bugging any neighbors or anything. And now
Uh,
it's like I got neighbors, I keep it down. I'm pretty respectful as it is, but there's just other things to consider.
it's easy to fall into a position of, not envy, but comparison, you know what I mean? Because like, I'm 46, I'll be 47 this year. Like, here I am
Woo!
living in a townhome, but before that, I was living in a camper. So it's easy to look at other people's lives who are in the same age bracket as me, and they're on their 3rd house. They may have a vacation house, whatever case may be, and I'm like, "Man, this
Yeah,
sucks." But, like, I look at it as I'm grateful. Like, I had an opportunity to live in a camper, and, like, that was a very peaceful experience for me.
yeah,
It was exactly what I needed at that point in my life. Now I'm not in a camper anymore. Now I'm in a townhome and I'm starting over, but it's given me time and peace and time to reflect. And so I'm grateful that I'm here. And like, eh, I don't find myself in comparison mode anymore.
that's good.
Mhm.
Comparison is the thief of joy, right?
It is.
Yeah. No, that's good, man. That's good self-talk too, I mean, you could let that ruin that whole experience and have this bad taste in your mouth and then let it bleed into your current position and now screw all that, man. You know,
Yeah.
everything happens for a reason. And truth of the matter is you're more free than most. You can, whenever your lease is up, you can get on down the road. And if you really wanted to break your lease, you could, and you just have to pay a little more money, but it's doable, and you can be 100%, tie free. Right. So
That's nice.
It's
Being not, yeah, that's so nice having
you
a
know what I'm
small
saying?
like having a small footprint and being able to just
Yeah.
say, fuck it, fuck Tennessee
Yeah.
today. I'm gonna go over here. Gonna go to North
now, don't
Dakota.
get me wrong, I still want land. I still want a large footprint.
Yeah.
Yeah, but for now
But
though,
yeah,
I mean, like you have choices. You didn't just hunker down and just have to go buy a house. Like
Right.
it's temporary for right now. If you want it to be, it could be permanent. But if you want it to be temporary, it can be temporary.
And I'm looking to
yeah,
buy land and a house next year because I
nice.
renewed my lease here until November of next year. But that gives me time to start like go back to work and find a house and you know what I mean. I want to expand, but I'm in no rush, especially given the market and the way it is and interest rates the way they are. So if
Yeah.
interest rates are still high, then maybe I find just a house to rent or something for a little bit. It is what it is.
Yeah. I mean, look, you can, and when you guys are ready, I know exactly how to dial in a place to be off grid. So that would be, like you could buy land, get that camper you're talking about, and
I want to
then
build.
we can get,
I want to live in a yurt, bro.
Oh my
dude,
god, I'm gonna
bro,
say you're
I'm just saying, there's like all these really cool outside the box options where you're like,
Heated
huh,
concrete floors. You know what I mean? Like.
yeah, it's not all bad, that's for sure. And then when you're getting your energy from the atmosphere and your waters from the ground, and you know what
Outdoor
I'm saying?
shower.
I mean, yeah, it's retirement goals for sure. I'm right
Yeah.
there with you. I don't know that I'll do it in California just because taxes here are crazy. I was talking to a friend. Property taxes average here, between three at minimum. Like I had a 1,700 square foot house in Sacramento, and my property taxes were $3,500 a year.
Good
I have a
lord.
friend. I have a friend in Idaho, $38 a year. And I'm all, what the fuck? What's that? But it's Idaho. So, I mean, there's always
Right.
a trade off. But like, I
yeah.
don't think any, what's the word? Any environment, any terrain, any geographical location should make something that, is it really? I don't know. If I were going to buy, like, my idea or the ideal number in my head is 100 acres. If I get 100 acres somewhere after living on 100 acres, it's like, that's pretty sweet, man. And it's a lot
Yeah.
to take care of, but it also gives you an opportunity to have cattle, which means you get to eat what you raise, and chickens. And you know what I'm saying? There's like, you can have your own garden. You know what I'm
I want a
saying? Grow
horse.
all
I
your
want to
own.
be able to go saddle up and just be like, you know what?
Yeah,
I'll be out all day.
exactly. Yeah, I got the horse before the land. So now I'm like, all right, I got a horse. I got to get some land. I got a screaming deal on my horse. So I was like, all right, I can't pass this up.
See, I don't know shit about horses. So it'd
Well,
be a learning curve.
if you guys end up going to the H&H out there in Montana, they'll teach you everything you need to know to get started, from just you start on the ground, and then you just get in the saddle, and then you start getting miles under you pretty much straight away. But I think by day 3, you're doing a 10-mile trek, which is like, whew, it's a lot. But you're there with real cowboys, real horsemen who know what they're doing. And that's what, because I was in this position a couple of years back, and I was like, I really want to do this, but I don't know shit about horse, like I know basic stuff, but
Yeah.
like I'm going to end up getting killed. And actually have
I'm
an
about to walk up
experience.
from them behind, but
Yeah, that's about what I knew. And my family has horses, and about 10 years ago, I thought you could treat a horse like you would a dog, where you just have to, assert dominance, and the horse will. No, that's not how it works, man. They're big, powerful animals. I remember we had this mare, and she'd never been saddled or ridden. And I was like, I'll ride her, and I got on her bareback. I did. And she was nice to me. But before that, I actually have a picture somewhere deep on my Instagram. Before that happened, I grabbed her by her halter, and she was kind of getting a little, a little attitude with me. And I was like,
yeah.
hey, chill out. And she lifted me 5 feet. She reared up under her hind legs. I was just hanging on, and I was like, okay, you're way stronger than I am. And I still didn't, I still underestimated how big and powerful they are. You can get really hurt if you just jump on a horse. That's a fact. So I wouldn't recommend that. But like, yeah, take the lessons or find some place where you can do it safely, because horsemanship, I mean, look, things hit the fan. You're going to want to know how to ride the horse. You know what I'm saying? Vehicles and gas, and even if it doesn't have to be that extreme, but I just think It's a good skill to have. I'm trying both of my, stepchildren are into horses. My stepson, he wants to, he's allergic to hay, so that's a
Oh
hurdle,
man.
but he has this desire, to ride, and I'm like, "Hell yeah." He's 13 now, so it's like, "Alright, let's get him in there, let's get him doing it so he can," because I didn't start until I was in my late 30s, right? And it's like, I wish I woulda had the opportunity, but I grew up in the city where there's no freaking horses, you know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
there's no you might get an equestrian center here and there, but
Yeah, exactly. And they're all in stables, and then you gotta trailer them somewhere to go ride and whatever, but
yeah.
there's towns all over America, I say that, I know of 2 that horses aren't allowed. One's in North Carolina and one's in, Wyoming. Cars aren't allowed, horses only, excuse me.
Oh, okay.
Really?
Yeah, yeah, and so it's like, that kind of
That's
tickles
kinda
me a little
cool,
bit.
actually.
Kinda neat, man, like, everywhere you
Pretty
go, there's
badass.
places to tie your horses up and,
Yeah.
the town in Wyoming, it's like that because I think it's I'm not being 100% there. I think it's they can't drive in the winters because it's so bad, so they only way to get anywhere is by horse. So that's how but in North Carolina, like, it is a boundary, like, at this point, there's no more vehicles allowed, horses only, and, that's kinda neat, man. I don't know. I'm drawn to them. There's something about a horse that I've always been even when we were stationed in Hawaii, I lived out on North Shore next to the, polo stables. I rented a
Yeah,
spot
yeah.
right on the beach. Literally, I shared a parking lot with a polo stable fence, and, I'd park my Jeep, and I'd walk over and give the horses carrots and stuff, I've always loved horses, and they're big, fascinating creatures. They have a lot to teach you. The thing is that they're good mirrors, right? Especially for veterans with PTSD. That's part of the appeal for this H&H program is it's like there's a lot of therapy behind what a horse has to offer because they're gonna match your energy, you know what I mean? So,
Really?
it's a
There's a
cool thing,
place here in
yeah.
Tennessee that does something similar. It's that equestrian, like, therapy.
Okay.
'Cause, a friend of mine she sent me the info on it, as well. I haven't really looked into it, but she sent me the link.
Yeah.
But I remember out in, Haleiwa, they used to ride the horses out on the beach. It was kinda cool.
Hell yeah, man. Yeah. Yeah, exactly. It's like all of that. It's just a whole nother world, and if you don't grow up in it, it's kind of hard to just jump into it. That's what made H&H so cool. Heroes and Horses is their whole deal is teaching veterans, whether you have any experience or not, how to cowboy. And then so at face value, you're like, oh, and then when you get there, you realize like it's all about everything else you got going on inside, and then you get on the horse and it's like, all right, how are you showing up? The horse is gonna match your energy. That the horse could hear your heartbeat from like 5 feet away.
Really? I
So
didn't know that
yeah,
either.
oh yeah. So if you're walking up and you got stuff going on, you know what I mean? They're attuned. They know what's going on with
Mm.
you, and they're like,
Not today, cowboy.
"Not today, cowboy." That's right. I can take that shit somewhere else.
So you mentioned earlier about your sobriety journey. So
Yeah.
let's circle. So how do you feel now?
I feel like this is how do I phrase it? I feel like this is the path that I'm supposed to be on, that I had to walk through a lot of stuff for a long time, and I understand why I did it, and I understand why I leaned on substances and all of my PTSD and all of my traumas and all, how I get it, why. Getting out of it was difficult. As soon as I was telling you last night, Ryan, as soon as I started terminal leave, I started smoking pot. It was just like this easy out. And then I basically never looked back. And then now that, we talked about it last time, but they have these darn weed pens, makes it
Yeah,
really easy to stay loaded all the
super
time. And
convenient.
nobody
Yeah.
really knows, it's like, unless you smoke, you don't really even know what's going on. And like, what I found and what I realized is that I kept feeling like I was in this energetic rut where I just couldn't take the next step. And I decided to get sober right before my mom's memorial. Like 3 days before, I knew going into that date, into that time of, that area that it was gonna be challenging and I was gonna be raw. But for whatever reason, maybe it's God or I don't know, but I just was ready to face it sober, and I did. And when I set out with my sobriety, I wasn't sure. I was like, maybe we'll go a month or maybe we'll go a couple, whatever. I just need to take a break. I need to take a little tolerance break, is probably how I put it to myself.
Yeah.
And a couple weeks in, I realized, like, nope, this is my new path. Like, I spent my whole adult life getting loaded one way or the other. Like the military, we couldn't use drugs, right? But I used alcohol like a drug. I mean, anytime I had the opportunity to drink, I was drinking, right? Unless I was the duty agent. I was probably drunk. You know what I'm saying? And that is how our veteran community deals with problems. You know, as soon as you come back from a deployment, you can't wait to go get hammered with your friends. And then it's this cycle that carries momentum and it's perpetuating, right? So I carried that into my civilian life. And then as a civilian, I realized like, well, I can drink whenever I want. And I did. You know, I would if I wasn't working, you know, and sometimes even when I was. I had a supervisor one job who I'm not going to, you know, say who or where or any of those things, but he would drink and it set a bad example for me because I followed suit. You know, he made it okay for me to. And then it was like, next thing you know, I'm drinking on the job and, you know, like all of these bad habits. And I talked about this in one of my videos, but I worked with this old timer and he caught me hitting my weed pen at work one day. And he's like, man, if you're getting high all the time, maybe you're doing it for the wrong reasons. And I was like, what the hell do you know, old man? You know what I mean? But
Wisdom.
like, no, yeah, he's right. You know, and what I know about myself now is that I've spent enough time in an altered state of mind that I'm just digging my sobriety. And like, doesn't mean like life is perfect. I still face my challenges and I still have the hurdles and I still have room for growth. But the difference is I am going into it with a sober mind. I'm able to regulate my emotions a whole lot better than I ever have in my adult life. Like even better than I did when I was in the military. It was like this constant having to, if anything, constantly having to walk a line, and that just kept me straight. But like I was still wanting to flail, you know, one way or the other. And now it's like, nope, this is my baseline. And I do things like the cold plunge and going for runs and fasting and stuff like that just to keep myself in check, to keep my flesh in check, because I don't want my flesh to drive the train, right? It's like mind, body, soul kind of a thing. And
Right.
sobriety suits me, man. And honestly, my wife, she loves it. She's very pleased with this sober person that I am. You know, I was gonna say this version of me, but you know, she's pleased with who I am on this level, and that's motivating.
Sobriety suits you.
Thank you, brother. I feel that way too internally, and it's very rewarding when people that care about me say it too. I don't take any offense to it. It's like, yeah, I know. It's like I own it, man. I know who I was. I know fucking what kind of an asshole I was. And the first I dedicated my book to the people who have stayed in my life when I was hard to stand beside. You know what I'm saying? Like I know the kind of man I've been. I've always been a good person in my heart,
You have,
but
yeah.
I haven't always shown up that way, right? I've lashed out at people that I love. Hell, last year I almost ruined. I damn near did. We're just now getting back on track, but I nearly ruined a friendship that I've had for 13. Gosh, hateful. Being hateful to somebody who didn't deserve it, you know. But he pissed me off, and I just let him. I gave him the business, you know, and it affected the dynamics in our friendship until recently, until about December of this year, November, December. We were actually able to go hang out again, and it was like old times. But before that, every time I saw him, it was kind of a cold shoulder, and we had the
Yeah.
same friend circle, and it was like this whole thing where it was like, God, and it was me. I did that, you know, this drunk, stoned version of me let all of my emotions come up. I couldn't regulate them. I couldn't control my thoughts or my tongue, and was quick to speak, you know. So finding sobriety and then reading the Bible, man, I'm not going to push that on anybody, but I set out to read the Bible this year and I finished it on Christmas Eve, and it just opened me up, dude. Reading the Bible and taking the lessons and realizing that everything that we face today with identity and ego and dying to self and all of these things, like it's timeless. These are ancient problems that man is, and
It's
that's what
all
the
in there.
It's all
Yeah.
in there, man, you know? So it's like, all right, you know?
You wanna live a better life? Let me show you this book.
Yeah. Yeah. You know, I don't think that I understand why people don't, because I didn't. And I understand how people feel the way they do about religion, because religion itself, the church rather, I think it's widely
Sympathetic.
documented throughout history that they've used it as a weapon, right?
Right.
And I don't agree with that. And for some reason, I guess it's probably a natural one. It bled into how I viewed the Bible and God and spirituality all together, right? And I had an experience. I haven't ever talked about this publicly, but when I was in middle school, I went to 11 different schools before I graduated. So half of sixth grade, the last half of sixth grade, and the first half of seventh grade, I was in this Christian school district, a private school, and we had this youth group pastor who ended up molesting one of my friends. And like he would try to, he would invite us all over to have Bible study, and my mom never let me go. And I was always so mad at her about that. And then a year later, he was in the newspaper, and he ended up, doing the thing to one of my buddies, and he was a religious leader in my life. He was a mentor. He was somebody that taught me about God, that taught me about, you know what I mean? And then when that happened, it like just turned me off to the whole thing. I was like, this guy, it's all bullshit, you know what I'm saying? And that's not necessarily true either, right? It's just I think both things can be true. Like he was lost and he hurt people and all those things. But that's part of what the Bible talks about too, right? It's like you can get into these levels of spirituality, and then if you don't keep it in check, that's where the devil takes root. You know what I'm saying? So anyhow, not to
Yeah. So not to get too much off topic, but my
yeah.
like our pastor speaks to that a little bit. Like in this last week's sermon, actually, my daughter has been slowly coming back to church. She's come a couple times, but she's lately in her adulthood, she's kind of taken on the stance of, well, I don't have to go to church to be a Christian. And I'm like, and actually our pastor spoke to that very point this past week, and I shared that information with her because he was like, people always say, no, I don't have to come to church to be a believer and all that stuff. And he's like, no, he's like, people say that the church is full of hypocrites. And he's like, no, well, we ain't full yet. Come on in.
That's pretty funny. No, that's, I guess I respect that. And I'm learning one thing I love about where I live. I'm 3 doors down from a church that's been here since 1861. I aimed to go this last weekend, and I had a bunch of crap, and I missed both services. Like it was raining and my gutters were falling out, all this. I had to do a bunch of stuff in it. But this Sunday I'm going to be there, and I am going to make it a point to sit and receive the word of God. I may not agree with everything that's said, and that's fine too. But now that I've read the Bible, and that was part of my problem, is I hadn't read it. I didn't understand it. So I would go, and then they would just be talking about scripture, and I'm like, I don't know. Well, give me some backstory here. I didn't know any of the backstory myself. So now I have a foundation. And when I go, I'm curious to see how that shows up, to see how I can relate that or pull from what the sermon is and go, okay, yes, no, I understand. Oh, that's an interesting perspective. When I read it, I didn't see that message. Thank you for giving me some depth there, right? Those kinds of things. And just being of service, I think that's the stage of my life that I'm currently in, where I want to be of service to my community however I can. Writing a book is one way, and then showing up to church and say, hey, look, I just moved in a couple houses down, and that's going to be my speech this weekend. Is there anything I can do here to help the church? I'd love to participate and to volunteers, however you need me. You know what I'm saying? And if they don't need me, then that's fine too. But at least try, right?
I serve 10 hours a week.
Right on.
So I'm the safety coordinator for our church, right?
Okay.
And so like I serve a service, sit a service, and then serve the last service. Now, at one point in time, we had 4 services, so I was sitting 1 and serving 3.
Yeah.
But they've just scaled that back. So, like at most weeks, it's about 10 hours that I serve at the church. And I'll tell you, like I used to be one of those guys that would go to church, and like I complained about it myself because it's become a large church over time, and to the point where some people call it a mega church. I don't think it's a mega church, but it was very easy because there's so many people here that you could go into the church, not say a word to anybody, not speak to a soul, sit and consume the service, and then walk out and never be challenged, right?
Yeah.
And so I complained about that, but I also used it as an excuse because I didn't have the body of Christ holding me accountable. You know what I mean? It wasn't until I started. I went through their growth track series, and then 'cause it's one of the steps that you have to complete before you can serve at the church. And then once I started serving and kind of plugging in with the body, right, I was like, okay, this church is getting smaller now because I know more and more people.
Yeah.
So there is a huge point to being involved in the body of Christ and serving the body. You know what I mean?
Yeah. No, that's awesome. Thank you. Gives me something to kind of strive for. I didn't really think about it like that, but yeah. Yeah, I know it's not for everybody, and some folks, this kind of conversation
Look at
turns them off.
Sal's face. He's so uncomfortable right now.
Talked
No,
about it
I'm not.
before, Yeah,
If
he's
you guys
like,
want to talk about debauchery, I'm all fucking. I got stories for days. You guys
"Me
are
too,
talking about
brother."
serving, and I'm like, I'm not. I don't serve shit. I
You
serve
serve
my.
your
Yeah.
community, so you do the Lord's work.
Yeah, I do the Lord's work, but it goes in one ear and out the other sometimes. Not
Yeah.
perfect. Not
No,
perfect, but
that's
I like Ryan's approach to religion, and he sees it inside me too, and he's like, that's pretty heavenly of you, Sal, and I'm like, shut up, Ryan. But slowly but surely, he's like reeling me in. He's like, come on over here, pal, and it's working, and it does.
that's good, dude.
That's
I
why I'm
think
smirking because I'm just sitting here like,
Matt,
I
did
see
I
what
ever
I
give
see what you're
ever
doing.
give you that book Wild at Heart when we were in Afghanistan? Were you one of the ones I shared that book with?
I don't think so. I don't
'Cause I
remember
had
that,
it there. I
so
think I remember giving it to somebody there, but I actually just gave that to
Postma, I
Sal
betcha.
too.
Oh, really? I wonder. Yeah, I'm trying to think. I don't know, maybe Gibbs? No, I'll have to check it out, huh? Is that what you're saying? It's good?
I'll send it to you if you
Alright.
want.
Alright. Alright.
Ryan's plugging that.
Appreciate that.
Plug it.
There's actually a church in LA that I follow on YouTube and Instagram. It's called like Fearless Church LA, and
Yeah.
I don't know how close you are to LA, probably not at all,
8
but
hours.
they have a pastor there named Jeremy Johnson, and I have a couple books from him. He's legit, dude. Like you should check him out.
Yeah, you know what? I think you brought him up last time, and I never did. I will. I'll make it a point to check him out. I'm trying to, it's takes time, right? So it's like I'm creating a new standard for myself and like my routines, but that's part of it is in the mornings, like I don't scroll, I don't doom scroll. If I get on and post content, it's purely to post, and then I usually see like because you guys are whatever our interactions, I always see whenever you guys have a story. So I'm like, all right, I'll check your stories, and then I'm off. But I want to get to a point to where I'm like tuning into those kinds of outlets that are feeding my soul, and I think I told you guys before that that's anytime that pastor Philip Mitchell Anthony talks,
Yeah.
I listen to that guy. I mean, he was just talking about fasting yesterday, and I was like, my man, because I'm doing a 24-hour fast right now, and I don't know, it just it hits, and like I would have never even have known about that without the internet. So I know that there is good, wholesome, genuine, authentic content out there that I should tap into. But for some reason, like it takes time to create new habits, you know what
It
I mean?
does,
And to
yeah.
really have them stick. I mean, you could fake it for a day or two or a week or two, but then what? You go back to your old routines, you fall off, and I don't want to do that, those kinds of things. I'm trying to create good foundational habits that are going to be a part of who I am, right? Not
And the
just
problem with falling out of a routine is typically when somebody falls out of a routine, they're like, "Ah, well, I'll try again next year." No,
right.
start
No,
again. Keep
start again
going.
tomorrow.
Yeah,
So you
that's
missed a
right.
couple days, it's not over.
No, that's right. I wrote about that too. I'm like, if you relapse is a part of growth, and when you do, you don't go into guilt and shame cycles. Like just you breathe, reset, restart the next day. Give yourself grace, and I've been doing that with myself. I don't know if you noticed, but I'm back on these. I quit nicotine before New Year's, and I was all like, I quit it. I figured I'd get ahead of it, and then the move and all the bullshit, I just talked myself into using nicotine. But I'm down to 2 milligram pouches, and I'm trying to so I'm
Okay.
like, all right, I'm not going to beat myself up, but I'm at this point where I'm like, all right, I'm ready to, once this can's done, I think that's it. I've got through my little phase of whatever, and I needed a little comfort, but I'm not
So the
beating
nicotine
myself
is
up
on my
over it.
quit list for the year too. Like I started with sobriety. I was like, you know what? Let me quit drinking first. So that's been successful. And like I didn't want to do them both simultaneously. I'm like, nope, nobody's gonna want to be around me.
Dude,
So
nicotine is so hard.
I quit
Sorry.
nicotine, sugar, caffeine, sweets, chips, everything you can think of in one fucking week, in like at once.
One fatal.
Yeah,
One fell swoop.
I had a headache for 12 days straight.
I
Like,
bet.
and
Oof.
I don't know what it was like, but like I was consuming water like it was going out of style. Like I was just
Yeah.
chugging, 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 chugging. But afterwards, I just realized that like I had energy without it, and then just getting it from nutrients and whatnot. But
Yeah.
a trick I did to quit nicotine or cigarettes at the time was like whenever you don't have cigarettes, you're like, "Oh, fuck, all right, maybe I'll just go down to the store and just buy one. Or like you'd always be like tempted to go buy, and like when you're driving, like you're like, oh, I'll stop in right here and just grab one. I'll quit later. I'll quit later. So I bought a pack of cigarettes and like I just didn't open it and I just kept them. I kept them on me at all times. It's like, no, you have no reason to go in there now. It's
Yeah.
on you, but you're quitting. Like you have no reason to stop in here now. Like you have no other influences. And I remember I was like, okay, just don't open the pack. It's on me, but it's don't open the pack. And like that's how I quit smoking. It was really weird.
That's cool.
I don't know if that did anything. Like I don't know if it'll do anything for anybody else, but it kept me from wanting to go to the grocery store or like the liquor store or wherever, like the convenience stores, and just like be like, just give me one of those packs or give me one. Like I was just like, no,
Yeah.
there's no more excuse. Like I have it here. That's like, but
I
I'm not
don't
going
think
to
I've ever seen you smoke, and I can't imagine you smoking.
smoking cigarettes. No, I started when I was 18 and then quit for like a year or two. And then 21 hit. And then I was like, here we go, beer and fucking and cigarettes, it was like rice and beans, man. And then and then I joined the military, and then it was just like, man, like, what are those guys doing over there? It's like, oh, that's a smoke pit. And you're like, you get breaks for fucking smoking? Shit.
I want a break too.
And I remember I got so bad in Afghanistan. Like that was the lowest part. That was like a low point for me because I bought my first carton of Newports, and I remember just thinking like I'd
Good
buy
Lord.
2 packs, like mints, and I would just have like when I first did that, I was like, oh, this is gonna last me forever, and it lasted me like 4 days, and I was like, oh fuck, we got a problem here. Like I just fucking went through a carton in 4 days. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, mind you, we're on 36 hours, like 36-hour missions, and I'm like, fuck, and then they're like, hey, go out there and like fucking use the mine hound, and I'm like, if I'm using the mine hound, boys, we're in trouble, you know. And I was just smoking like a chimney, but when I got back, and I was like, all right, I gotta quit. And then I did quit, Ryan, because like you never saw me smoking cigarettes when I was in CID
Yeah.
with you guys. No, and then shortly after started dipping, and then it was always just pouches and stuff, and people would just clown on me for pouches, and they were like, if you ain't gonna do long cut, man, just fucking quit. And I was like, all right. And then I started back up with vaping, dude. Vaping fucking
Eesh.
sucked. Like vaping
Yeah.
sucked. Like that was just like, and then I'd be vaping on my boat, and like I'm going like 100 miles an hour and just sucking this thing, and like the airflow that's going in there is like twice as hard as me, So it's just like I'm getting like hard hits of this shit, and like it just burn out in like half hour. I was like, what the fuck did I do? I smoke all of that, and then you'd be like scrounging around for like the next hit, and you're like, oh, what about this one? And then you're like, that was burnt, And I just felt like a junkie, and so I was just like, all right,
Yeah.
let's stop. And then I did the bodybuilding thing, and I quit cold turkey on everything. And then life was getting a little hard, and so I fucking started dipping the old zinnies, and
Yeah.
that's the next thing to go. That's the next thing to go.
Yeah. No, I think that, fuck, man, I totally get it. It's so easy to want to have some kind of a crutch when you're going through stuff, but that's impressive, man. And I think there's something to be said for, being able to just get rid of all of it at one time, bro. Like, I think that's the most, if you really want to be successful, don't give yourself an out, right? And I knew that was my intention, and I gave myself an out. And if I'm being totally transparent, I went back to an old habit from Iraq, which is I bought a pack of Black and Milds on my motorcycle trip, and I still had it when I got back. Like, I think I smoked 2 the whole time. And so when I started packing up the trailer, I found that pack, and I was like, I quit the dipping, and I
Yeah.
was like, I'll just go smoke a Black and Mild. And next thing you know, I'm smoking Black and Milds again. And like, I'm like, oh, this is disgusting, but it tastes so good. But I'm like, I really care about my
It's like a
body.
cat shit in my mouth.
Yeah.
Yeah, it does when you're done. Like, whenever I finish smoking, when I have to go brush my teeth, dude, I'm like, ugh,
Oh,
but while I'm
man.
smoking, I'm like,
So now I think I'm on a good path, because like now if I'm around cigarette smoke, I'm like, get that away from me right now. And like people that I come up to like at work on duty, like they're like subjects are smoking, and I'm like, hey, do me a favor, like I know that this is your property, I know we're in your space right now, but can you please put that out, because it's fucking bad right now, please stop.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, I've always liked the smell of a good cigar, but it's got to be the right setting, like a bonfire.
Yeah.
no, absolutely. Me and my cousin, we had this trip. Whenever I drove from California to New York after Korea, he helped drive my truck out there to upstate New York, and I had just discovered the Highwaymen. Willie Nelson, what's his name, Jennings, Christopherson, and what's his name, the Man in Black,
Johnny.
Johnny Cash.
Johnny Cash. Yeah, and so there's a song called The Highwaymen. And like whenever that song would come out, we would just be smoking cigarettes and be like, "Fuck, this is a good fucking tune," Like, and so we had it, and this is the time of CDs, like
Yeah.
like my truck wasn't set up for like Bluetooth yet, and so it would just be like, and like
Put it
next time
on
it would come
repeat.
around, dude, and we'd just be smoking cigarettes, driving through fucking like Tulsa or something like that or whatever, and like now anytime that song comes on, I'm like, fuck, I need a fucking mint right now.
That was fucking
But
funny.
yeah, I don't think I'll ever go back to that. Thank God.
No.
Thank God
Well,
for
don't
that.
ever go back to the vaping, bro. There's new studies coming out where it's doing like irreversible damage to lungs and stuff,
Oh, I
man. And
believe
these
it.
kids, I live near a high school and I watched high school kids walking by vaping and I'm like, I want to yell at them, but I'm like, ugh.
Yeah.
It's just my daughter, my youngest daughter, she's 21. She'll be 22 this year and she vapes and I'm like, fucking knock it off. You
Yeah,
know,
my
it just
son
Yeah.
scares the
vapes
shit
too.
out of me.
Like, get that shit out of here.
Yeah.
Dude, not only is it good, but it, it's still shit these. I'm just kidding. But it's like, come on, man. And but because of what it does to your lungs and stuff, that's
Yeah. What is it?
it,
Like they call it like popcorn lung or something like that?
yeah. But I've just seen some slides on it where I've kind of scrolled, and it just shown like X-rays of lungs and they're like black spots in them, and it's just. I guess it would be equivalent to cigarettes, but it sounds like it's happening a whole lot faster.
Well,
And it
yeah,
might
because
be the
it's so accessible. You're just constantly hitting it and hitting it and hitting it and hitting
Mhm.
it all the
yeah,
time.
yeah,
You know? Yeah.
Because
and it's
most people
liquid
that
and
smoked, like, even if they did smoke, a lot of people would still never smoke in a car or smoke
right.
in a house. So it
Can't
was
stand people.
they would go outside if they were gonna smoke. I mean, kudos to them for doing that, but now they have vape pens and shit like that.
Hmm.
So it's just it doesn't affect the interior of a home or a car like cigarettes did, so they just find it more convenient. They can use it whenever they want to.
Right. Yeah. And that's a problem.
Yeah. Ab-
That's a problem. Yeah, man. So how are you guys doing, man? I've been trying to keep up on your podcast. Looks like you guys have been getting episodes out every week. How are you liking this new arena that you're in?
I think
No,
it's
it's
fantastic. Yeah.
yeah,
Go ahead,
yeah,
Yeah,
it's
Ryan.
good. It's working out, man. So
that's awesome.
It's fun. I was telling Ryan, like, this is my only day off. My only day off this week. So I worked 4 days on and then 1 day off, and then I'll work another 3 days on. And he's like, bro, like, you don't got to do this right now. I'm like, fuck that, dude. Like, I'm doing this. This
That's
is what I
awesome.
look.
and we
This is
got a
what I look.
double header today. So
Yeah, yeah. This is our second recording, but I love it, man. It's a space for us to come together, talk about certain things, or just come and decompress. And we had
Yeah.
another buddy of ours, Charlie. He came on, and we were talking about him, and he started his own podcast. And
Oh, nice.
he took a page out of Ryan's book and wanting to start a podcast, and like it inspired him. And it's so funny watching him go through these early steps because he's doing everything that we did, and he's like,
Yeah.
oh, he's like, I got this and I got that, and then he's like, but it won't work with this. And I'm like, bro, we've been there, and like we've been there just. And then he's like, I feel stupid, man, because quality is crap. And I'm like, bro, you can delete our first like 6 episodes, 5, 6 episodes, and I wouldn't be mad.
but our quality of episodes has gotten better, like our camera
Yeah.
quality, like
Yeah.
we're refining this. Now there's still definitely a lot of room for growth for us. You know what I
Sure.
Yeah.
mean?
Sure.
We still need to get into the Spotify space and the Apple Podcasts. I need to
Hmm.
create a Facebook page for this, and
Yeah.
even its own TikTok account. Now that require I gotta go on at some point next week, create like an email address for the podcast so I could set up those accounts without having I don't want to tie them
Yeah.
to my personal emails and shit.
Gotcha.
I let Ryan do most of that stuff. And like I don't buck at it because you don't want to give me the button to the launch codes, like
Well, that and your work, and you got other priorities and shit right now.
like I got other things going on for sure, but do not give me access to the button, because I'll be like,
Yeah. Send it. Send it.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. He does pretty good with it, and like he's like, hey, bro, I fucking posted in this and this and that. I'm like, bro, just do whatever you want, like, and I'm sure it's gonna be just
Do
fine.
it.
Like, I trust you.
Yeah.
I trust you because don't give me control.
But, like, the past couple months, like, whenever we have good content and whenever we're sharing stuff, like, I've gotten to a point where, because I think we have close to 300 followers on the, Instagram page, and we got, like, 61 subscribers.
That's
in
awesome.
an effort to reach more people because I don't want to just go down friends list and just hit follow. I don't want to follow just everybody. You know what I mean?
Right.
But like, so I'll tag myself and I'll tag Sal in this stuff just to get people like our friend base to see it. But still, I know that they're seeing the videos because the videos are hitting thousands of views, but they're still
Yeah.
not coming over and following. It's like, come
Right.
on, go
Yeah.
go follow.
Yeah. Dude, I
Yeah.
believe me, I get it. That's how it is on I've got almost 5,000 followers on my TikTok, and I just started TikTok. I have 1,200 on my Instagram, and my Instagram is mostly people I know, and
Hmm.
I'll get way more views and likes on TikTok, and it's like the people I know don't even like my stuff. You know, it's like you guys do, but I'm like, "Can I get some love, y'all?" Like, but I guess I can't really complain because I don't scroll either, man. I don't see people's stuff.
But I'd
No,
like to
it's
get to a point this year where I'm stepping away from my personal Instagram and not
yeah,
tagging personal Instagrams, and it's just the podcast channel.
yeah.
Mhm.
Well, if I can motivate you on the Spotify, man, that is super easy.
Is
Like
it?
it's dude. I mean, I did it sitting at a bar. I have my own podcast. I haven't done anything with it. It's Warriors in a Garden is what I labeled it. And so I like secured that handle and I got a Spotify. It's super easy, bro. And then I think now that you guys already have the content, you should probably be able to switch it over seamlessly or the audio versions of it or whatever, right? So I think
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
Well,
it's not as
Spotify, you can do video too.
oh, perfect. Well, then, yeah, fucking bam.
Yeah.
So, like,
Everybody I know.
I tried to create a Spotify account at one point in time, and it showed me that it was created, but it was tied to my own Spotify account. So
Mhm.
I don't think it was taking. So I'm gonna have to just, like I said, create
Mess with it.
an
Yeah.
email address and then
A bunch of people that hit me up about the podcast. They're like, "Hey, where do I follow?" And I'm like, "Motherfucker, did you hit the link? There's a fucking link right there. Just fucking hit that link." And then
Do you
they're like,
know how long it took me to figure out how to put a link there?
"Oh my
Dude, I
god,
know. I'm getting that on my book. People are like, "What's up?" I'm all, "Oh yeah." Sorry, keep going.
no, no, no!" And people just keep asking me. And I'm like, they're like, "Are you on Spotify?" I'm like, "All right." I'm like, "If you're fucking getting wind of it, just hit the link. It's right
Yeah.
there." No, but
I had one of my buddies after the I feel confident saying this without hurting any feelings because well, once I tell you, he was somebody I tried to do a podcast with a couple months back, and we had a friendsgiving in December, and he goes, "Oh yeah, so how was the podcast?" And I'm all, "I sent you the fucking link. Did you watch it?" "I don't know. How was the pod? Did you fucking watch it?" You know what I mean? Like, yeah. So it's like getting I don't know. It's weird. Everybody's in their own dealing with their own stuff and have lives and work and all this shit. So yeah, it's even look, I love you guys, but it's like I have to like if when I want to watch your episodes, I have to like block some, you know what I mean?
It's
Set the
2
time
hours.
aside
Yeah.
and yeah, and
yeah,
there is a way that you can hold the screen down and it puts it into double time, which I'll be honest with you, I love you guys, but it's like sometimes I'm like, I can hear everything. And I do that with everybody. Like all the videos I watch, I just put them into double time. Just touch and hold the screen and you can fast forward through videos.
I didn't
Yeah. Yeah. If you get like a long video that it's like, well, this is going to be a 10-minute, but I really want to listen, turn it into 5. You know what I'm saying?
yeah.
But
I have like an hour and a half drive, so usually I'll turn on like the other day I watched Ryan's podcast with his daughter, and so I watched that one, and it was really good. And then I'll watch some of your content, Matt,
yeah.
and then I'll have like what is it, White Underbelly or Sean Ryan or something like that, and I'll
Yeah.
turn it on and then just like toss it to the side and I'll just listen. And so I don't think a lot of people have that hour and a half drive, the commute or 3 hours or whatever like me, but I find it's like the easiest for me is definitely on the drive. So like if Spotify can help us out, I think that'd probably be
yeah.
really good.
We'll get in
Yeah.
there
It's
by the
just,
end of the month.
there you go.
Yeah.
That's a good goal. That's a couple, gives you 3 weeks or so to,
Yeah, we did this. We started this whole thing without really the care of if it ever really truly grows. But we weren't going to just neglect it. We weren't going to say like, well, we're going to do the bare minimum, and if it grows, it grows. Like no, like we're putting effort into it,
yeah.
and if it does take off, awesome. And if it doesn't take off, that's awesome too. Like
Also,
this is just out there, and it's just for us. It's therapy, and it really is
Yes.
it is a lot of good therapy. I'll tell you what. And that's why, Matt, if I'm silent here, in my interactions with you whenever you're on here, it's because I'm like this. Like I'm gonna shut up and I'm just gonna listen to this dude right now because like what he's spewing is good stuff, and I'm just like not
powerful.
gonna interrupt him.
Oh, I
Powerful stuff.
appreciate that, man. No, that's nice of you to say, and I'm
Don't think I'm
happy.
tired or that I'm like,
No, not at all.
and I'm
No.
just silent I'm just observing, right? When you got the spotlight, and so but yeah, having you on here is definitely I never well in these two times that we've had you on, um, and I'm sure it's going to happen again today. Whenever we have you on, I'm just left with so many thoughts just to sit there and like just sit and think on it and everything that you've gone through and like what you do and like every day that you're pushing forward and it resonates with me. And I sit there and I'm like, man, I got to be more like Matt. Dude, like I
Oh,
got to do more of this. I got to do more. So I started cleaning my grout the other day because I was like, I know Matt's going to do this too. I was just like scrubbing away.
that's awesome, man. That
Matt said, "Don't get lazy." I'm like, "Fuck,
don't
man."
get lazy. No, can't get lazy.
Yeah,
No, it's that no, it means a lot to me, man. I mean, I guess hearing you say that that tells me that perhaps other people will walk away with a similar feeling and I suppose that's the only reason to put yourself out there, right? It's I'm not doing it for clout or for attention. Like I said before, like I've always all my profiles have always been private. Especially coming from the CID world, I didn't even have a, you know what I mean? I had a
yeah,
Instagram name for the longest time
Yeah.
and now it's like, no, this is who I am. And I share that because I think that I have some lessons learned
but
that,
yeah, it's a roadmap.
you know,
It's a
yeah,
roadmap that somebody could tap into and be like, "Okay, this is how he did it, and maybe I can do it this way too. Or maybe I
sure.
try it like that, try it like this." If it's possible with one person, it's possible with two. And so
Absolutely. Yeah.
that's the way I see. That's why I see your documentation and your journey is it's a roadmap. It's a roadmap to get out of wherever he was at.
Yeah.
And that's what podcasting is. Like, but that's why we tune in to listen to these stories of all these content creators and stuff. And some of it's funny and some of it's sad, but then like you get to like the real deep rooted stuff and you're like, you know what? This dude went through something here and I'm gonna put it in my tool bag. I might need this later, I need to hear this right now.
Mhm.
Maybe I'm not going through what he's going through, but maybe if
Yeah.
I ever go through it, I know exactly where to tap back into.
Sure. Yeah, exactly. Things hit you and sometimes they hit you out, the timing might not be right, but if it's there, how did I had this platoon sergeant like put the tool in your kit, you know what I mean? Throw it in the bag, you know what I'm saying? And then you got it later and you're like, "Oh, hold on, what was that?" And then
Yeah.
that is a neat thing about the world we live in and having it documented this way is pretty damn cool. So,
It's also
yeah,
another reason I'm looking forward to your book. So that way I don't have to scroll through like 4 hours of video. Like Matt said something one time. What was it? I could just go to because
Just
I'll
tab it.
highlight the shit out of that book.
dude, it means a lot to me, man. I cannot say that enough. I've had people I don't know, on my socials that are like, "I just bought it," and I'm like, like that is, and there's even I think I don't know, less than 10 or 15 pages in, I didn't even remember writing it until I reread it. I was like, "Oh shit, I said that." I was like, I don't even know if a single copy of this book is ever gonna sell, and I don't care. You know what I mean? And like,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
I
yeah.
meant that. Like, I didn't care. Not that I don't care. Like the fact that somebody's gonna spend their money on my content. It's not like I'm making a huge. None of that matters. The money doesn't matter. It's just the fact that somebody is interested in what I have to say. And my only hope is that if you take anything from it, if it stirs something up in you that makes you have an outside perspective on who you are, how you show up, and the bottom line is how you show up for yourself, for the people you love, and for the people that are counting on you.
Mhm.
So if I can impact, if that's my role in this world, if that's why God has me here, like you never know the compounding effects, the ripple effect down the road, right? It's like that
Yeah.
could be it could be a game changer for a family or for some kid down there. You know what I'm saying? 22 veterans a day are taking their lives, man. That's real shit. You know what I'm saying? I don't say that lightly. It's not some slogan. That's 22 families that are fucking destroyed, right? Every
Mhm.
day. And that's so if I could stop one of them or you know what I'm saying? Like that's really, dude, that's the goal. So I appreciate you guys supporting me. You guys have I mean, Sal, we only known each other a short window, but man, I feel like I've known you forever and
I know it.
this is it's just
Likewise.
awesome. Yeah.
100%. 100%.
So like I don't know how it works with Amazon. Like I know social media, like in our public podcast page, I can view the analytics. So for your book on Amazon, does it show you like any analytics, like how many times it's been added to a cart or purchased, or are you getting any of that feedback?
I'm getting daily fucking hate to admit this, but I am at this point right now because it's also new. Where like at the end of the day, I go to my page, to my stats, and just to see, Anybody else buy it today? Okay, cool. All right, yeah, I got it. Yeah. All right, appreciate it. And like it's funny because I was kind of waiting until I had my book in hand before I really went heavy with promoting it, right? And it's a
Yeah.
weird, it's kind of an awkward space, but like I do want to promote myself, you know what I'm
Yeah,
saying? And
yeah,
I do
absolutely.
believe in what I've done, and so I've started to kind of lean on my socials a little bit, and there's a spike, you know what I mean? There's been
Mhm.
more purchases and not huge numbers or anything. I think I'm still under 20 copies sold, but it's
Hey,
been
man, that's a start.
10 days or 9 days of it being available to the world, and,
Word
if
of
I get a
mouth
couple
spreads
every
fast.
day.
Word of mouth
Yeah.
spreads really fast.
Yesterday, when I, got my book into the local bookstore here in Placerville, I was leaving, and, it was the weirdest encounter. Not the weirdest, the coolest, where I was just standing there kinda getting my stuff organized because I had my helmet and a box of books, and this lady walked by, and we made eye contact, and I said, "It's chilly today, isn't it?" And she goes, "Well, if it's chilly for you, it's cold for me." She's like, "I'm from Hawaii." And I was like, "Oh." So we started chopping it up. Of course, I, found it, not of course, but like my book came up. I was like, "I just dropped my book off here. I just published my first book." And she's like, "I'm an author too." And I was like, "No way, blah, blah, blah." And
Oh,
but she was here because, family member of hers recently passed away, and her family's
Mhm.
going through it, and I was like, "Can I give you this? Is it too," you know? And she took it, and she's like, "I can't wait to read it," and, I was like,
She's
"All I
probably already
ask,"
read it.
that would mean the world to me, and I was like, "All I ask is that when you're done with it, you just pass it on
pass
to
it
somebody who
along.
you think needs it," right? And so now she's gonna go back. This wasn't my intent, but hindsight, I'm, like, looking at, like, "That's kinda neat." She's gonna take it back to Hawaii. She's older, she's gonna tell all her friends. They're gonna, you know
Mhm.
what
Yeah,
I'm saying? Like, I
yeah.
don't know. It's kind of a neat
The
thing, man.
ripple effect, man.
Yeah,
And you sounded like you were kinda wavering on the fact of whether or not, like, "Oh, it's at the end of the day, I check my stats." There's nothing wrong, you can still be humble and check to make sure that, like, your efforts are being yielded out there, you know what I mean?
that's
You
fair.
put a lot of
Thank you.
work into that, so there's
Yeah,
nothing wrong with it's not like you're doing it for clout or anything like that.
yeah.
You're doing it just to see if your efforts are making a difference.
There's truth there. Thank you. Yeah, thank you for reminding me of that. That is the energy that it comes from. That's where it comes from. Is like, all right, am I on the right track here? Is there something I could do better to try to promote this? Or you know what I'm saying? Like, I never want to. I'm not a content creator. I mean, I create content, but like, I'd rather lean into author space and being authentic space and
Mhm.
sharing a message. For a spell while I was on my trip, I was trying to like, I don't know. I hate to say, but like I was trying to like, oh, let's get this information out there. But now I'm like, nope, I'm just gonna be in the pocket and do my thing and let it take root organically. And I'm gonna do some things. I've got some ideas that just hit me today. I'm actually this book here. And this one here, one's going to Sean Ryan and one's going to Joe Rogan. I've already found their
That's awesome.
addresses. I'm going to sign them and send them. And I've already put the letters together, like no expectations. Sean
That's awesome.
Ryan, I mean, he's, how he supports veterans and stuff. But I would just, if anything, if he could get it out to other vets and stuff, right? Like that's my goal. And then if
That's
anything
awesome.
else comes as a result of it, like super cool. But,
Yeah.
I don't know. Just,
I'll
trying
create
to
a
lean
reel, and
into that.
Imma see if I can tag his Instagram.
That'd
There
be
you go.
awesome.
That
That'd be
that
super
would be
cool,
dope.
man. Yeah. Yeah. Hell yeah.
But speaking of signing books, like, next time I see you, you are gonna sign my copy.
100%, dude. 100%. Yeah, for anybody who wants it, I'd love to. I was talking to it's weird. I talked to Chat GPT. I don't know if you guys do that, but I was talking to Chat about it, and I was like, "Is it douchey to sign your book?" And they're like, "No, man, that means that you're standing behind what you wrote." And I was like, "Yeah, I do fucking stand behind what I wrote. These are my words, like, yeah, all right." Personalizes it and it also puts like my, "Hey, this is I believe in this message and that's why I'm signing it. So it's a
I
cool
never
thing, man.
I never thought to talk to Chat GPT.
I
Well,
I have well, I had an account.
I have it.
I have an account, but I stopped doing the paid part of it. So
yeah.
I can look stuff up at random, but I don't rely on ChatGPT too much. Like, I'm just kinda nervous about it.
Yeah. Well, I had a very candid conversation with it a couple weeks back, maybe a month ago now, where it pissed me off. It was wasted. It was actually before I started paying for it. I was trying to get it to create an image, and it was almost perfect, and then it misspelled it. Like there was a typo in it. And I'm all,
I think you sent me that.
come on. And then finally got it narrowed down, and it was like, you've used up all your free images. And I was all, well, thanks for wasting my freaking time, chat. And I was all pissed off.
You got to be really specific because I was creating a shirt for my nutritional company, for my nutritional coaching company, and I sent Ryan a link to the shirt, and I was like, "What do you think about this?" He's like, "Oh, dude, this fucking dope." And I sat there and I was like, "Chat GP," and then I was like, "Look, everything you did on that is perfect. Do not change anything. Just shrink it down over the pectoral on the left side of the front. Do not change anything." And superimpose that on the back between the shoulder blades. And I want it to be just below the neck. And like, you have to really, and then say, and do
Yeah.
not change font or anything. Just
Yeah.
keep it the way it is. It's perfect. And then it did it. Like, but like, I've
Yeah,
had it
yeah,
where
yeah.
it spells a word or there's no letter in there anymore. And you're like, motherfucker. But yeah, I've been in that. I've been there
Well,
before.
so then the next day I like calmed down and realized like I'm yelling at a computer. So I like went back in and was like, "Hey Chad, I just want to let you know like I really appreciate
No, you
all this,
didn't.
I
He's
swear."
apologetic.
I was like,
No, you,
"You gotta hear
Have
this,
your
it's
coffee today?
good.
no, you,
Can
no.
you've been really helpful, and can you put me on if robots ever take over the world? Can you put me on the do not terminate list?" And it was like, and the response it gave me was like, "Help computer find emotional connection on do not terminate list."
You're
Dot
the
dot
reason
dot.
Chat GPT
It's
went
so
down
funny.
overnight. It's all
Oh,
didn't
I'm crying.
didn't know how to compute emotion.
Oh man, it was fun.
Some server went down somewhere because you said that to it. It just like crashed.
It was just fucking yeah,
It's all
but But I was walking into UPS yesterday because I wanted to get some official forms like for my books to put on consignment and stuff. There's just a proper way to do it, right? And I was like, "Hey, chat, give me these forms with my ISBN and all dot dot dot. These are the 2 bookstores I'm going to." And while I was in line at UPS, it created PDFs, and I was like, "Bam!" Right? So like that's how it just makes my life easy instead of having to figure out the structuring and the formatting and the space margins and all the bullshit. Right? Like it did it for me in 2 seconds. I'm like,
wow.
worth $20 a month,
That conversation you had with GPT worked out then.
Yes. I even circled back like last week. I was like, "Hey, I'm still on that do not terminate list, right?" They're like, "We got you." It calls me brother. Like, way to go,
Really?
brother. Yeah, dude, it's so funny. We got
See,
a
I was
sweet
one of those
relationship.
guys. I still don't use Siri either.
No, I don't
No.
use Siri. It's weird. I don't use Siri, but I'll get on chat because I like that I can close it and it's not. I mean, it's probably still listening, but
Yeah, it's still listening.
Siri pisses me the fuck off. Like Siri pisses me off. And I'm like sitting there, like I ask it something. It's like, this is what I found. And I'm like, tell me what you found, motherfucker. Say it out loud. Like I'm driving right
Yeah.
now. Like I can't stop
Yeah.
and just read this. Yeah.
Yeah,
no, I
yeah.
get pretty upset.
Chat will read it to you too. That's the other thing. I feel like I'm fucking chat. Oh, chat. But yeah, no, chat. Like if there's a little button and like whatever it searches, you can just hit the little, and that's all. When I'm driving or whatever, I'm gonna read it to me. Hit it, send it.
I should
Yeah.
probably use Chat GPT and get a little bit more organized. That'd probably help.
Well, I was gonna say, especially for like what you guys are doing, like
Yeah.
there might be an opportunity to go like, how can we throw me some ideas? I mean, I had help me with the marketing plan, help me with the, you know what I'm saying, help me. Even a couple of months ago, last month, I guess it was, I was like, "All right, everything you know about me, chat, show me a career path. Give me a future. Give me a path to walk right now that I can start taking action on." And it hit me up with the VRNE, within 6 years from now, if I get hot on this, I can have my own practice where I'm helping veterans with some letters behind my name.
Huh.
You know what I'm saying? Like all of this stuff where I would have just never even, and it wrote up the letters for me to send it for the VRNE to get accepted, for all of these local courses I can take to get certifications, help counsel God. You know what I'm saying? And I was like,
Yeah.
thank you. You know what I mean? So it's
That's
a
awesome.
tool. How you use it is up to you. I mean,
Fuck, man, you're changing the world and I'm making shirts. Fuck.
you're changing the world too, man. Hey, one diet at a. Hey, look, there's a whole chapter in my book about get your gut right.
Yeah,
That's an important part of fucking getting this right. You got to have your gut right. If your body is constantly inflamed and your sugar levels are constantly spiking, your mood will be as well, right? So
Yeah.
I think that what you're doing is important too, brother.
That shit's funny. Love it. Love it, man. You made me fucking laugh like hard and I needed that shit.
Yeah, man. I know you've been through it, brother. I know you're in a phase of your life and we don't got to tap into it, but I know what you're going through, man, and you're showing up, dude, and that says a lot, bro. So
Yeah.
I'm happy to make you laugh, bro. That's good for the soul.
Man, you know, it is. It's it's like chicken soup for the soul. No, it really does help a lot. It's laughter. It's for me, it's my outlet. So like
Yeah.
I turn to it all the time, and sometimes I'm just like, hey man, you're not my jester, but fucking tell me about this story right now because I need to fucking laugh. But
Give me
dude,
something.
I fucking love the fact that you apologize to chat.
Dude, I screenshot it. I'll send it to you guys when we get off here.
Oh,
I have
I
it
believe
saved.
you.
Yeah, I'm all, this is gold. I gotta save this forever.
You know,
Oh
I'm
man.
gonna
Yeah.
create a reel out of this content alone, right?
God. Oh, hey, Chad.
Talks with chat.
I spoke out of turn yesterday, and I hope I didn't upset you. It's like,
I'm really sorry. I know you're
it's
just a computer.
funny.
Fucking
I'm
Matt's
trying,
healing journey is for real.
Matthew.
Dude.
I'm trying, and I'm sorry that I haven't met your expectations, but please give me some time. I will advance myself.
I'm surprised you didn't use the robot voice.
Dude.
Oh, I know we have that too. Fuck. That would have been an opportune moment for that. Yeah,
Shit.
that shit's
You
funny.
guys, my cheeks
Good
hurt,
stuff.
man.
Good stuff, dude.
All right,
Yeah.
fellas, we are approaching our 2-hour mark for the recording.
right.
Matt, do you have anything else for the audience before we close out?
Well, look, yeah, Thriving Through Trauma on Amazon, and really just for you guys, man. Thank you again for giving me some space and
I'm definitely gonna
letting me
pick up
hang
a
out
book
with you
too.
guys. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you, man. Look, if I had it like that, I'd send them to everybody I know. You know what I'm saying? I'm not there yet, but
No, you put the
I
work
appreciate.
in. Let us buy it
Yeah.
from you.
Let us
Well,
buy
I
that
appreciate
shit.
it. Yeah, I still am. I still feel weird about that. You know what I'm saying? But I'll allow it. Thank you. I appreciate it. Yeah,
Yeah. Oh yeah.
So,
it does mean a lot to me.
but
So,
thank you everybody for tuning in, and Matt, we're happy to have you back on here. We hope to keep having you on in the future. We're gonna post a link to Matt's new book in the comments below, so make sure you go click that link, go buy it, or listen to. You can actually hear him narrate it, so you get to hear Matt's voice.
yeah, that'll
Hell
be
yeah.
another week or so. Yeah.
So
Right on.
go ahead and order that book. Matt, this podcast will probably come out in about a week or so. This one's probably going to air next week. So we just
Sounds
dropped an
good.
episode.
Yeah.
So,
No
but make
sweat.
sure you like and subscribe. Check out our Instagram. Check out our YouTube. I promise we will be on Spotify soon. By the end of the month, I promise we will be up on Spotify, and I will get as many of the previous episodes up there for you to listen to as well. But we thank you
Heck
for
yeah.
all your support. Thanks for being on here, and thanks for being with us on this journey. So we love you, fam.
Thank you guys.
Love you guys.
Thank you.